I woke up one morning and I decided that I wanted to start a podcast. But so much went through my mind as I had these thoughts. It's almost as if I convinced myself that I needed to have my life together first, that I needed a better apartment, more money, a clearer vision, more certainty, a larger vocabulary, a better answer to the question, so what are you doing with your life? And then it hit me. Maybe the reason why I needed to start this podcast now is because I don't have those things. Because to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And I think that's the thing that has really been eating at me lately. For most of my life, I've always been the girl who had the plan. The babe who was certain, the babe who said, I'm going to do this. Even if I didn't know how I was going to do it, I was going to figure it out along the way and get it done. But recently, I kind of feel like I've just been surviving. Waking up, answering emails, applying to jobs, editing videos, filming videos, going to the gym, trying to pay my rent on time, trying to figure out when I'm going to get next month's rent, trying not to spiral, all of these things for one babe. It's much. And I think somewhere in between all of those things, I've become very, very, very scared. And not scared of failure per se, because I think failing is good, but scared of my own potential. And not just scared of the actual potential, but I feel like I'm more scared of wasting mine. My mind has been so crowded with thoughts of what if the dream that I've been building for the past 6 years does not come into fruition? Or what if all of this effort, all of this ambition, and these dreams don't lead to where I think that they're leading? And to be honest, it's really difficult to carry these thoughts because they are heavy. Hey, Sana, my shoulders are screaming, aching for some relief, right? And I think that there's a lot of pressure, especially because from the outside looking in, my life looks so exciting. I'm an influencer, I run a business, I moved halfway across the world, I get a ton of PR, I work with brands, I get invited to brand events, and I should feel grateful. And I am grateful, but also I'm in a space where I believe that two things can exist at the same time. So you can be grateful and terrified. You also can be ambitious and exhausted. And you also can be chasing your dream with all your might and still not know whether or not you're on the right path. And I think that's the perfect way to put into words where I am at this point in my life. Hey girl, welcome to Pretty, Paid, and Plotting, a podcast for the girls who know that they want and they need way more out of life. On this podcast, we talk about how to stay pretty, how to get paid, and how to keep plotting your dream life. I am your host, Tashinga, and welcome to the pilot episode. Hey, we are here, guys. I can't believe that I have a microphone in my hand. Who gave me the mic? Who gave me the mic? I did. I bought it by myself from Amazon. It was a cute price, so I had to buy it and do what I do best, which is yap. I'm so excited to have a platform where I can speak my mind unfiltered. We talk about everything here, and I'm really excited to jump into this first episode and I don't know, vomit out my guts to you guys. Please, 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 please share this podcast to a girl who you know needs to hear what I'm about to say. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you are listening on Spotify, please add this podcast. You don't want to miss any of the gems that we're going to be dropping from this point forward. So this is a great time to explain what pretty, paid, and plotting actually means. It's the best time because it is the pilot episode. Contrary to what the title might suggest, this is not a podcast about having your entire life figured out. Because your host right now ain't got her entire life figured out, girl. I am on the path. I'm in the messy middle. My friend and we have the saying where we say we're in the middle of our millions. So I am currently in the middle of my millions and I would love us to go on that journey together, whatever or however that looks like. Let's talk about pretty. Pretty isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming, about finding little habits and rituals that make you feel good and beautiful and sexy and confident and just like you're able to take on the world. It's skincare, it's makeup, it's confidence, it's getting dressed up for no reason and learning how to take care of yourself when life gets messy. Ultimately, it's just a fun way to finding your path back to yourself. Paid is not just about money. Although, Lord, if you're hearing me now, I would love more money. Please, Jesus, don't be scared to put more money in my bank account. When we talk paid, we're talking about building an empire. It's creating a life that grants you freedom and options. It's all about business, career, ambition, and all the uncomfortable in between conversations that we have to have about money. And plotting. Plotting, I think, is my favorite one because plotting is the space between where you are now and where you want to go. That messy in between. It's the strategy, it's the dreaming, it's reinventing yourself. It's you asking yourself, who do I want to become? And then figuring out how to get there. Even when you're scared, even when you're confused, even when your bank account does not match the final destination or even the current the current location, the current pin, and even when you don't have proof that it's going to work. And maybe that's why I wanted to start this podcast right now, because that is where I am in my life at the current moment. Just the space between I'm not who I used to be, but I'm also not yet the woman I envision myself to be. And after 6 years, I still do feel a little bit embarrassed by that. I feel embarrassed that at this point in my life, I'm still worrying about money. I'm embarrassed that I don't have all the answers. And I'm embarrassed that I still ask myself whether or not I'm doing the right thing, whether or not I am still on the right path. And that's why this podcast needs to exist, because I know that I'm not the only woman who is in this place in her life right now. I know that there are girls who are listening and are also carrying the same burden, asking themselves if they're behind, if they're doing something wrong, if they're wasting their time, and if whatever they're chasing and working on is ever going to work. If that sounds like you, babe, welcome. Now, I think the appropriate thing is to tell you a little bit about myself. Ooh, child. Get some popcorn, get a beveragino, because it's juicy. It's juicier than a damn steak. Have you ever thought to ask yourself that if your environment changed, would you stay the same? I have an answer for that question. Obviously, it's a case-by-case thing, but I moved from South Africa. I grew up in South Africa my entire life. Then I was laid off in September of 2024. And I thought, wow, this is the perfect opportunity for me to make social media my full-time job. I decided to move to the United States, and girl, it was so difficult when I first moved here. I had no friends, I had no community in the States, I didn't know anyone. Obviously, when you move overseas, there's a big time difference. And from South Africa, that's like 7 hours in difference of time. And I had no employment and my friends were all working. So I can't just pick up the phone at any time and be like, hey, can we talk? Because no, Babes is working. Her life is still the same. So because her life is still the same, you kind of have to accept that your friendships probably will not look the same. And that was very difficult for me to expect. And of course, the food was different. The roads are different. The water is different. The air is different. The people are different. The culture shock when I moved to the States was insane. I went from living on my own to moving back into my mom's house. And I think that really stubbed my confidence a lot because I just felt very incapable. And when things were getting a little bit better, boom, homeless. It's so crazy to say that at this time last year, I was homeless, you guys. Oh my God. It's a difficult situation to be in if you have been in that situation, but it really just felt like everything, there's no point in life. What's the point? Okay, when it's a snowball of bad things, one after the other. And me back then did not see me today sitting here and having a conversation, holding a microphone, hosting a podcast, or making money like from content creation, being able to make a living and feed myself and pay my rent and go out and do fun things. I did not see that. And it's just so interesting to see that when you put your head down and you just keep going, regardless of whatever circumstance that you're in, something will come out. There's no way that you will wake up, go to the gym, put work in, and stay stagnant. it's impossible. And I think that gives me a sense of hope that I may be in a time in my life right now where I don't know what next month will look like, or the month after, or the next year. Getting up and doing something every day, making myself 1% better, as James Clear said, it gives me that sense of hope and a little bit of strength that, you know what, you don't know what's happening right now. It's okay not to know what's happening right now. You are able to go through it and feel it and experience all the overwhelm and the fear that's happening inside your heart, but not to dwell on it, because you are making and taking active steps into becoming a better you tomorrow. And just touching on the topic of having a change in your environment, when I came to America, I really thought it was all going to be glitters and sparkles and fairies and roses. It's not like that. It was not like that when I arrived. I unfortunately do not have a rich family. I don't come from money. So when you come to a new country and my mom is working crazy hours, I am unfortunately the eldest daughter. I went back to being parentified, and that's not what I thought 23 would look like for me at the time. And so I was humbled very quickly, because when I came here, I thought, I'm going to pull up, I'm going to get a job. The brand deals are going to start coming in quick, quick, quick. And it's like, whoa, oh, it was a very rude awakening. It does not, it does not work like that. And I can understand why it's overwhelming when you change environment. And change of environment does not have to mean moving to a completely new country. Sometimes it can just mean you used to live in Johannesburg and now you live in Cape Town, or you used to live in Massachusetts and now you live in Los Angeles, or you live in New York. People are different, the air is different, the vibe is different, the hospitality is different. For example, the hospitality in New England is not the same hospitality in Atlanta, right? Different places. And I think just developing the muscle of adaptability is one of the greatest strengths that I was able to find in myself in the previous year. And I hope that you can find the courage to adapt to whatever situation that you are in right now. Because babes, if you don't, you're gonna drown. Hey, rather don't, and trust me, don't test the waters. Rather learn to adapt now so that you're able to maneuver whatever situation that you're in. One of the things about moving to new environments and friendships and stuff is I finally found friends, and I was so happy when I became friends with the friends that I have now. But one thing that I find constantly weighing on me is the pressure of being the ambitious friend. If you speak to my friends, if I call them right now, people look at me, not just people, but my friends think of me as a military general, because I'm the strict friend who, you're not going to come tell me your dreams and then I kiki and you're not making a move to your dreams. Rather not tell me, because if you're telling me something, let's set a plan in stone, let's start working toward it. And my friends often tell me, hey, wow, after speaking to you, I just feel so motivated. I just feel like I can't speak to you and not start working on something. I can't speak to you and not, you're just so ambitious. And it is true what they say, that the people that you hang around the most are the people you end up becoming like. That quote that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And so, hey, it's nice in the moment when I'm like, yeah, my friends start working after a conversation with me, or my friends feel the urge to chase their dreams, go a little bit harder after interacting with me. I think it feels good. And if you are the ambitious friend, you know too that it's a feeling that I don't think one can describe, in the sense that, wow, I am actually making a direct difference in my community, in my friend group, because people are getting shit done because of the relationship that they have with you. But what's not spoken about is the pressure. There's a lot of pressure when you are the ambitious friend. And I think we need to unpack that, because people actually think I'm doing way better than I'm doing. Girl, let's unpack that. Let's unpack. I think the contrast is fascinating because you see me and it's like, yay, wow, bah, brand deals, bah, PR, bah, brand event, bah, business, bah, podcast, bah, she's dressed, she looks good. And it's like, yes, yes, yes. But the contrast is behind the scenes, girl, sometimes I still struggle with my rent. And it does not affect my friends directly or affect me directly. But sometimes I'll sit at night and be like, whoa, Lord, everyone thinks that I have my shit together, but where the hell is my rent coming from? Where am I gonna get my rent next month? Where am I gonna get my utilities for the next month? When am I gonna be able to get my groceries, right? And it's like, oh, but I'm putting all this work in, something has to come out, and surely something will come out. However, just that flash of doubt always passes through my mind here and there. And because I'm an immigrant in these very uncertain times, it's also like, yeah, I'm working so hard, grinding, doing all this, bah, legal fees. Bah, are you gonna be able to stay in the country? Is the dream that I'm building so loud and proud going to be maintained now when it comes down to whether or not I get to stay after I've been building this life that I've been building for myself in the last 2 years, right? Or even just job applications, because everyone knows that this economy is not a joke. It's not a joke. This economy is not cute, right? And it's like when you are in the content creation industry or social media industry rather, you can have 5 clients this month and then 3 drop off and then you're left with 2. And you turn around this month you're getting 10,000 US dollars in brand deals. Next month it's quiet. And regardless of whether or not it's quiet, rent is still waiting for you. The lawyer's still waiting for the deposit. Your roommate still needs your half of the utilities. You still need to eat. You still need to get up and go do client work in the city or wherever you're going, which means you need transport, whether you're Ubering or you are commuting, right? So sometimes I'm just like, ooh, wow. When people see me, they see the strong shield of a person and they see a person who is unbreakable. Oh yeah, everything is working nice. Oh wow, she's so put together. But sometimes it's like, hey, giggle, giggle. I don't know what next month looks like for me. And it can be difficult to express that. And I think the most healthy thing is to look at it not as a weakness, but just a sign that you're also human. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much that we can control. I think I've been learning to give myself a lot more grace in that regard, especially because, again, there's only so much that I can control. What I can control is my input, and what I can do is wait and hope that the output matches the input, right? And also, there's different seasons in life. You could be having a dry season, right? Or you could be having a super flowing season. The only way to get out of it is to go through it at this point. But I think that's a conversation that I don't see a lot of people having. Just the pressure of being the one who always has her shit together and is always on top of things. It's very humbling when you go from one season into the next season and what people are telling you does not necessarily match your reality. On this topic, I think that's when it becomes really important to not assign your value to other things and your identity to other things. Because I think one thing that I really struggled with in Q2 is, wow, I'm working so hard. I'm breaking my back, but I almost have nothing to show for all of the hard work that I'm doing. It made me feel like I was a little bit, less worth than what I usually think I'm worth. Or a little bit less of this, a little bit less of that. As much as this season was very painful to go through, it's also one of those things where I'm like, I'm happy that it happened. I'm happy that I had this season because you learn something from every interaction, every moment, every season in your life. And I think one thing that I had to learn was that I am Tashinga. I am who I am, regardless of how much money is coming in, how many clients I have, how many brand deals I I get, how many PR packages I get, etc., etc. And I think that's something that I think if there's one thing that you take away from this episode is that your value stays intact regardless of your external circumstances. What's happening outside and around you should not have that much power over how you feel about yourself. As difficult as that may sound, but it is something that I think we need to exercise. And on the topic of your worth and whatever, I think everyone has role models, right? One of my favorite role models is Emma Grede. Oh, what a powerhouse of a freaking woman. When I look at Emma Grede, I feel like I have BTS standing right in front of me. Now, if you are a K-pop fan, babes, okay, what it's, I can't even find the words. When it comes to BTS, there's no K-pop fan who does not stand in absolute awe. Emma Grede is one of the women that I look at in absolute awe. And when I think of when I've made it, I'm like, when I've made it, I'll be like Emma Grede. And when I look at Emma Grede, I see an ambitious woman who is fearless. She's not scared to be about her money and get her money, which I love. That made me sit and think about what making it actually means for me. I sat down and I was like, what does it mean for me to make it outside of Emma Grede, right? As an example, as a role model. And it was really hard for me to come up with the list of materialistic things. All I could think about is I would have known that I've made it when I'm at peace, when I am happy, when I don't have to worry about financial security, when I can go outside freely and not have to think about, I don't know, like life not working out because I'm spending hours outside, or when I'm able to rest without panicking because I'm like, oh my God, I'm spending 6 hours asleep. I'm taking a nap in the afternoon, but I can't take 6 hours. I can't take a 6 hour nap because I have A to Z to do. I'm the only person who, just when there's no noise, I really think that that's when I would have made it. And just the contrast really blew my mind because I had to ask myself, okay, babes, so LOL, what do you really want? What do you want? The riches? Do you want the visibility? Do you want just a quiet life? And I think it's okay to sit and have these thoughts with yourself. I actually urge you to sit and have these thoughts because you have to ask yourself what it is that you really want, no matter how difficult it is. Because I think we get blinded a lot by what we think we want, right? But what's the root of what you want? When I say, for example, and I'll use Emma Grede, when I think, oh, I look at Emma, she has the successful podcast. She's the CEO of 3 companies. She's a founder. She's a chairwoman. And it's like, okay, so when I look at that, why do I find that so desirable? And I was like, whoa, maybe just being able to have control. Because as much as human beings, we don't want to have control, it's a lie. You want to have some sort of control over your life, right? And so I had to dig deeper and ask, what do I want control over? All of this shadow work, just again, getting to the root of why you desire certain things. The easiest one for me that I can give you without overly oversharing is money. I look at Emma and I'm like, damn, she must have a lot of fucking money. Look at all this work that she's doing, right? And I was like, damn, Tashingo, why do you want to have so much money? Like, why do you want money so much? And it's like, first of all, I hate being poor. Number one. Number two, I grew up poor. I don't want to be poor, please. I'm tired of not having money. But what does money symbolize to you? To me, money symbolizes freedom and options. And for me, that looks like being able to decide to go to the store, right? Not even like a fancy LV store. No, being able to walk into Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, as opposed to going to Star Market or Market Basket. Another silly example I could give you is, I think I'm going to sleep in today. I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. Or I'm really tired today. I don't want to take the bus or the train. I don't want to commute. I'm just going to Uber straight to the location. That's freedom in three very silly examples to me. And I was like, that's what I want to be able to do. I don't want to have to be forced to do something because I have no other option. So that was very interesting to me. An interesting thought that I had. I'm always thinking or talking, right? And I was like, wow, okay, so what are you using to measure whether or not you've quote unquote made it? It's easy to identify those things in the materialistic sense. Try to dig deeper about what that actually means and looks like for you outside of the money, the fame, the cars, the watches, the diamonds dancing. Although, honey, make sure that if you want diamonds to dance, diamonds should dance. We should not limit ourselves now. If you want the diamonds to scream at us like Ashake's diamonds, have you guys seen, quick tangent, have you seen Ashake's diamonds dancing in the Gratitude music video? If that's what you want for yourself, go and collect. If you want a big ass house, go collect. If you want riches just for the sake of having riches, go collect. However, I will say don't chase things emptily, because you get those things and then what? I think it's important to do things and be fulfilled after you've done those things. Yeah, that's something that you should think about. What does it mean for you to have made it in life? That's something that I hope that you really take the time to think about this week. Also, something that we should be asking ourselves is, okay, when you finally make it, what do you think you'll feel like? That's why I was saying, I think pursuing fulfillment is way more enriching. It's better. It's healthier, because if you make it, let's say you set a goal for yourself. You want to have 100,000 US dollars. Hey, Jesus, don't be shy. Show me what you can do, Lord Jesus. Right? But you get $100,000. How do you think you're going to feel after you get that $100,000? Are you going to feel fulfilled? Are you going to feel like, nah, okay, whatever? Because I've had those moments, like it feels like a child with a toy. I've set some really big goals for myself, and when I accomplish those goals, I'm like, oh my God, yes. I dance, I jump around, I'm so excited for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's the next thing, right? And I think shifting the goalposts too much, we should be putting a break on that. Put a break, right? In the sense that if you say to yourself, oh, and this is I need to hear this. This is a note for myself too. But if I set a goal for myself and I accomplish that goal, I should be able to say, oh, wow, Tashinga, you did a great job, without immediately thinking about the next thing that I'm chasing. And also, if you ask yourself, when I think about Emma Grede, I'm like, hey, I don't know how this lady is not losing her mind, stressed. How did she arrive there without being stressed? But do you really think it's possible to carry the burden of such a big life and not be stressed? I just think that that's the burden that you have to carry when you want such a big life. You will be stressed. You will have to work harder than everyone. You will have to be strict about the people that you keep around you. Like, you have to become the kind of person who can hold the life that you want. I think about that often. I really do think about that often. And now, carrying stress. Can we talk about being broke? Yeah. Guys, I'm about to be a little bit vulnerable, but not having the money, the cash flow that you thought you would have at a certain kind of age is another kind of pain. It's another kind of pain, because when I think about myself when I was, let's say, 20, I was like, by the time I'm 24, I need to be bringing in X amount of racks per month. I need to be making this amount of money a year. But it's like, oh, life happens. You might not be as consistent. Again, life happens. And so it's just, Wow. If you have not experienced being broke, you will not really understand what it is to be broke. Or rather, let me fix my tongue, in the messy, muddy middle of your millions. And I think there's a certain type of shame that comes with being broke. I'll share a story. I was out with one of my friends like 2 weeks ago, and we were hanging out. Guys, I had $8. I had just finished paying my rent. I had $8 left. And she's like, "Oh girl, you need to go get some food." And I was just like, "Hey, yeah. I was doing like mental calculations, asking myself, Jesus, what can I collect with $8? And I was like, oh no, I'll just get some fries. I was feeling, oh, just want to get some fries. And I was feeling so shameful for that. But also, now that I'm sitting here a couple of weeks later, I'm asking myself, but what's so shameful about being left with a couple of dollars after you finish taking care of yourself? And this download is coming to me right now. Like, Tashinga, you finished paying your phone bill, you finished paying your rent, you finished buying groceries, you finished this, you even made the effort to go out and do something low key with your friend. Like, what's so shameful about it? What a fresh new perspective. But I think the shame that comes with not having as much money as you thought that you would have stems from just how you look to other people. Because as much as we all try to act fresh and funky, it's true that you do want to present a particular type of way or a certain type of way to the people around you, the people in your life. You don't want to look like you're struggling, even when you're struggling, right? And so it was tough. All that to say though, I did get a matcha from Blank Street. It was very good. It's one of the new summer flavors, so go to Blank Street and try it. This is not a paid advertisement. However, that matcha was very good. I think another thing, if we really get into the brokenness a little bit, we have to keep going to the root. And for me specifically, I had to sit and ask myself what being broke means to me. Does it make me feel like a failure? A little bit, because I did expect to be at a certain place financially at this point in my life. But me not being there right now does not equate to me being a failure, even though it might not feel that way in that particular moment in time. Or even, does it make you feel like you're irresponsible? I think it's very important for us to have these very scary conversations with ourselves, because it really allows you to get to, again, the root of why we end up doing certain things. But for me particularly, I would think about how, man, I should have managed my money better. But it's like, guys, I finished paying rent, buying groceries, utilities, transportation. How better else could I have managed my money? So it's a very difficult conversation to unpack. As you can see, I'm having a hard time even putting into words what I'm trying to say. But all that to say that sometimes give yourself grace. Hey, and I don't think I'm not the number one person to overly preach about grace, because I do feel like sometimes people use the idea of grace to give themselves permission to be a loser, but we can unpack that at a later stage. But I think that there are certain areas in life where you can give yourself grace, and you would have tried your best, and it may feel like maybe it's not enough. I just want to be with you in this moment to tell you that, hey, Sana, there's some things that you just have to leave them in God's hands, because what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? But yeah, just give yourself grace and a pat on the back for doing what you're doing right now, because I think that in itself is very important. And even speaking about grace, hey, let's talk about my latest obsession. It's not my latest obsession, but I'm getting back into it. K-dramas. Yo, I love a damn K-drama, guys. Sign me up for a K-drama. And I think the reason why I've been loving them, especially in the season of my life, is the escapism, right? Because in those stories, people have hope. People go through wahala. People go through a lot of stuff in K-dramas, right? But they always make it out at the end. Those people, they overcome. The characters have a lot of direction. They're funny. It's in a different language, so I need to be reading the subtitles and watching. My brain is engaged in something else that is not my own troubles in my own world. And speaking of K dramas, I actually decided that a couple weeks back, before I get into what I decided, I was in a very bad space mentally, and I was like, Jesus, how will I manage this one again? Like, I've been working so hard. It's been 6 years. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not sleeping, constantly working. Like, come on. Can a dog get a bone? And I was just feeling like giving up on everything. And what did I do? I put on a damn K drama. And I had this epiphany. As I was watching that K drama, I was like, damn, I would be so pissed if this person, the main lead in the K drama, decided to give up on their dreams. I would be so irritated as the viewer. Like, come on. So I decided I'm going to look at my life like a K drama, starting from that moment on. And surely, whenever I feel like giving up, or I'm feeling overly overwhelmed, or I'm feeling as though, just feeling sorry for myself, I have to think, oh, what if there's a viewer right now waiting for me to get up, get out of bed, go to the gym because I said that I would get up out of bed and go to the gym? What if they're waiting for me to clean my room because I said I'm going to clean my room? And it's just like, this is the next level of doing it for the plot. Because genuinely now, I am doing it for the plot because I have to win. So I really implore you guys to look at your lives like it's a show. Like you're playing Sims or something. Or like it's a K-drama, in my case. Because yes, someone is watching you. You are just a cast member. You are the main character in this show, in your life. How pissed would the audience be if they reached episode 16 and you didn't make it? Because I know I would be pissed if I watched a K-drama for 16 hours and at the end of the show there isn't a happy ending, or I decided to give up by like episode 8. And it's like, you're giving up. What about the remaining 8 episodes, my doll? What's gonna happen, right? So I implore it, and I will say life has been way more fun now because I'm just like, I'm not internalizing things anymore. I think life is it's more painful when you are internalizing things, and it's hard not to do because it is your life and you are a person, you are a human being with feelings and emotions and you're complex. But when you remove that element and you become a character in a K-drama, you can just be like, actually, I don't like how Sujin is moving right now. Or I don't like how Rachel is acting right now. Rachel needs to get her shit together. And if you're Rachel, the main character, best be trying to get your shit together so that the audience can enjoy. And the audience does not have to be the world. The audience can just be you. The audience can be your inner self, your inner child. Because I think that your inner child would be very disappointed if you had to give up along the way. And I would be very disappointed. My inner child would be disappointed if I had given up when I had wanted to give up. Also, just think about your favorite artist. One of my favorite artists is Ashake. I think this is the second time I've spoken about him in this episode. Ashake's latest song called Gratitude, that has been my jam. Just imagine if Ashake gave up in his third year. That means today I would not have gratitude. I would be very irritated if I did not have gratitude to listen to and play on repeat every single day. Because I love that song. It's such a beautiful song. Or if BTS decided in their 5th year that they're going to disband because things are getting too hard, we would be so sad as ARMY because we would not have Arirang today. We would not have so many things if our favorite people in the world had given up. You could be someone's favorite person in the world. So don't give up on whatever is in your heart, whatever you're chasing. Don't give up, just keep going because someone is looking at you. And even if you don't see people looking at you physically, your inner child is looking at you and she's waiting for you to prove to yourself that you are that bitch, that you got this shit. Do it for her because I'm pretty sure everyone listening to this episode, maybe you didn't have the rosiest childhood. Maybe you weren't as confident as you are now. Maybe you weren't as smart or as paid or whatever, right? And you are now. And I think that makes you happy that whatever previous obstacles you've had in the past, you were able to overcome them. It gives you a sense of pride and joy and confidence. And I think it's important to continue to be pursuing that pride, joy, and confidence, because it makes the younger version of you who had not experienced what a crazy place the world is happy. That is the end of today's podcast. I really hope that you enjoyed our first little chat. It was mostly just me chatting, doll, but I hope that you had a couple of ad libs along the way. But we really covered a lot of what makes me, what drives me. Hopefully, a little bit of what drives you too. I'll try my best not to talk so much about myself in the next episode, Sana. I'm so excited for next week. We will be getting into what I did to feel and stay pretty this week. I'm just so excited to be going on this journey with you guys. I really hope that as time goes on, or as you were listening to this episode, that you felt pretty, you felt like, yo, there's hope to get paid, and you're excited to start or continue plotting your dream life. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.